Welcome back to the Science of Relevancy. Hi, this is your host, Rex Allen, and today we're at episode 10, and we're going to talk about something I feel is really important to help people understand what is happening in our world. For those that are new to our show, our cross media show of internet, YouTube, uh, podcast, and radio, we want to talk about what's happening in our world and how do you stay relevant in the constant change of innovation, what's taking place. Today's topic, I think, is really important for those who may not be in the tech field. Now, for the last 35 years, I've been involved in technology and have spent most of my career there. A couple other parallel universes and home improvements and other things and transportation, but most of my connectivity has been technology. So this is second nature to me. Well, the important thing that I think people need to understand is why do we need to pay attention to all this technology? There's something that's happening and it influences our lives more than anything we know. So let's set the stage here and talk about the impact of technology. If you look at the chart here on the right, it shows the ranking of the top 6 countries in the world as far as their economies. Well, the United States is still the largest economy on the planet. But there's some interesting news that you break down those numbers. If the state of California was its own country, it would rank as eighth in the world as far as economies. And here is the alarming statistic that I don't think many people outside of tech or some even inside of tech really understand. If Silicon Valley, which is the heart of where innovation takes place in San Jose, in the shadows of Stanford University in the Bay Area, but if Silicon Valley was a country of its own, it would be the 19th largest economy. Now let you sink that in. The 19th largest economy. That means that the Silicon Valley itself is bigger than 192 of the 211 countries. That's astonishing. Most people don't understand that. So the heart and epicenter of technology is where we're seeing this huge impact. So companies that you see here now, Walmart's not headquartered there, but Apple, Amazon, Google, tons of these companies, Zelle, Venmo, Hulu, PayPal, Netflix, Facebook, all centered in the Silicon Valley. So it has this impact on our technology. Now, a couple things that's going on with this, and some more statistics for you. This center of innovation, the United States, in the global innovation index, currently ranks third. And how this index is formulated is a percentage of people, so population based on the number of innovation companies. So number one in the world is Finland, followed by number two, which is Japan. The United States is three. However, there's something that's really important because there's a difference between innovation and perfection. So if you look at, and this is a key statistic, the number of patents that are filed in the world, the United States is still first. So your thought leadership and your innovation and it can be argued the culture that we have and the freedom that the United States has, it still is the epicenter of innovation because of the number of patents that are filed. Now look at Japan. It's a great technology company, but a lot of times the companies in Japan are really good at refining innovation rather than innovating themselves. So it's really the epicenter of this innovation. Then the other thing that's taken place over the last decade is the technologies that we see here are the epicenter of social media and the media epicenter. So it's really important for us to understand that our lives are being influenced by these sets of companies. Now, this is not an exclusive list by any stretch, but I'm telling you, these are innovators. These are companies that are using technology to advance customer experience, to create the best customer experience in their disciplines, in their markets, in their niches, and they're doing this through technology. Well, okay, let's look at this. Why does this matter? Okay, I don't care what size of company you are. If you're the smallest sole proprietor up to the largest companies in the world, keeping pace with technology matters. And here's some specifics about that. Mobile devices are now our windows to the world. Think about it. Everywhere you go, almost everybody has a mobile device. In our youth, ages 18 to 29, so our younger generation, 98.2% of the people have a smartphone. 98.2%. That figure goes all the way down to a whopping 69% of those 65 and older. So what's happening is the fact that these technology companies, they really have our attention because that's how we interface with the world. Think about it. When you're out there and you need something, what do? You Google it, and you Google it on your phone. And in many cases, you'll make a decision based on the information that you find on your mobile device. Now, 56% of US adults have not only a cell phone or a smartphone, but they have a tablet also. So it's really our window to the world. And because it's the mobile device, it's controlling the user experience, setting the standard. Okay. So here's what you're going to find in this current generation, this new generation that has come up. It's the first generation that has had the internet since they were born. And now they all have mobile devices. So it's their perception of how they see the world. And they are being influenced on their customer experience through mobile devices because that's how they look at everything. I can remember when my youngest son was about 5 years old. He's 18 now. And we were sitting at the dinner table and talking about some particular subject. And he piped up with a piece of information. I don't even remember what it was about. And I looked at him astonished because here he is, this little kid. I think he might have been in kindergarten. And I asked him, Alec, how did you know that? And he says, oh, it's simple, Dad. Everyone knows how to use Google. So my 18-year-old, as a small child, really understood, and that's what the world that we live in. And because we are connected to these devices, they are creating hyperconnectivity. Okay, meaning that so many people basically are connected to their phones virtually 24/7. It says that the average adult now sleeps within 3 feet of their smartphone. I can testify to you that frequently over the last decade, with my kids having access to smartphones, that was very frequent to walk into the room at night to check on them and see them falling asleep with their cell phone next to them because they fell asleep watching something. So we have this hyper connection. It's controlling the user experience, and what the consequences of that or the results of that is it's shaping their way that they want to interface with your company. So I don't care what type of business you are, a home improvement company, a daycare center, a snow removal company, a retailer, it does not matter. Your customers have been influenced by this hyperconnectivity and how your business is seen with these mobile devices. Now, what this is doing is for all companies is upping the need for instant customer engagement and satisfaction. The customer experience has become so important. At the Science of Relevancy, we have coined a term and trademarked it. It's called the science of convenience. And because of mobile usage and the hyperconnectivity, companies need to be focused on how do they instantly engage the customer? How do they instantly create customer experience and satisfaction through the mobile device? The other thing that it's doing is actually forming social behaviors of this current generation. It's alarming to see so many kids, young adults, where they can barely have a conversation unless it's in text messaging. So, the important part about this that people need to understand is the simple fact that if you're not positioning your company to interface with the current generation and all the way down to senior citizens. 69% of 65-year-olds and older have a smartphone. So if you're not keeping pace with tech, you're going to fall behind. And that's the important thing you understand. Doesn't matter what type of company you are, you have to take and pay attention to this, because these companies are going to run you over. They're going to absolutely create customer experience that no one else will have anymore. If you look at Amazon, they are one of the prime examples of customer convenience. They know how to create a customer experience. I give this example all the time. If I was a convenience store owner, I would have never thought that Amazon would be a legitimate competitor. But yet, in the past year, Amazon is opening up convenience stores where there's no checkout. So it's identical to your local 7-Eleven or your mom and pop convenience store, your corner quickie market, or whatever you want to call it, but yet there's no checkout because Amazon realized that nobody loves that part of that shopping experience of waiting in line. So in this day and age, nobody would have thought Amazon would be a threat to a small convenience store, but that's the truth and reality. So unless you want to end up like these companies that are going out of business, have gone out of business, or are struggling, they did not reinvent themselves to keep pace with the tech companies. Great example of this is the one that's in the center of the screen here today, Sears. Sears was the Amazon of their day. They sold everything to everybody. They made it easy because they sent you a catalog and then they morphed into retail stores, but they were slow to adapt to technology. They didn't consider how the generations were engaging with the companies that were their competitors. And so they got to a point where they were just ignoring the technology companies. They got to a point where their message became stale, their brand became stale. So you have to think about this. What are you doing to keep pace with the tech companies? Because they influence everything we do. How many people spend hours a week on social media sites or watching videos on YouTube? The entire media industry is upside down now because of Google and YouTube and the technologies that they brought to bear. So my message today that we need to focus on is really the importance of technology and the technology economy and its importance to staying relevant. And if you're not, you're going to be one of these companies that struggles to stay with us. So again, it's all about being relevant. It's all about being able to be nimble enough to create communications, customer experiences, engagement that is just like the biggest companies in the world in the tech sector. So if you want to learn more how to do this, I recommend that you give us a call or connect up with us. Here at the Science of Relevancy, we help organizations of all sizes stay and remain and thrive by being relevant. It's a science, and there are specific trends that are coming that you as an organization need to stay ahead of. We have strategy developments and execution plans to help people work forward. We can do custom engagements to help your concern. And then we have some executive subscriptions to help you understand what's happening, because we're all busy and we don't have time to read all the clips. So we basically have a news of the week and why it matters and its impact. So again, give us a shout because it's really important to stay relevant. And if you want to stay ahead of the game, be one of the survivors and thrivers, it's important to be relevant. So tune in until next time. Thank you. This is your host, Rex Allen, and be relevant.